I was hoping to have a little help from the sun to give me some natural lighting today, but it is not so. It is 8 o'clock and it is still dark outside, so it is what it is. We simply have to work with what we've got, and what we've got is not great lighting. So, long time no see. I did not film at all in January. It was just a month for me to kind of regroup and relax because December was just so hectic for me and I just was super anxious the entire month, and January I needed to just kind of get myself together in a sense. I still read a ton of books. I'm excited to talk about them, but that will be another video. This video, as you saw in the title, is my TBR video for February. I am going to do things a little differently in 2025. So I'm still going to be doing my 2 separate TBR jars. We have the prompts and then we have all the TBR books that I own. But we're going to be making space for my Tackle That TBR videos. So instead of doing 10 books a month that I was doing, we are going to just be doing 8 books a month. So we're going to be choosing 4 prompts and 4 books respectively. And when we choose my prompts, after we use them, we're going to throw them away so that eventually I'm going to run out of prompts and we will have to, whoa, I almost dropped this. We will have to rewrite some prompts and just get some new stuff in there. I'm excited for this new TBR style, even though it's pretty much the same thing. I'm still excited for it. I love change. I love new stuff. I am just excited to see what this year has for me reading wise, and without further ado, let's get into it. So I think we're going to be starting with the TBR books first. I am just going to get right into this, no dilly-dallying. Number 1, I'm also going to try to open them on camera so you can tell I'm not cheating. So the first book, oh yes, I was really hoping to get this. This is Pictures of You. After I pick all these books and I pick out the prompts, then I will gather the books and I will show you. But first we have Pictures of You. That is so exciting. I can't wait for that. Okay, number 2 is Cascade Failure, a reread. I did put a few rereads in here because I have a lot of books I want to read again this year that I've already read, but Cascade Failure is one of them. Starting off really well. Okay, number 3 is, I feel like I'm doing decently at opening them. Ooh. We have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, like an emotional romance type of read. And finally, our last TBR book is The Deep Sky. Do I know what that is? I'll find it later and show you. Okay, that's that for the books. Now let's choose 4 prompts. This is so exciting. Okay, so number 1, we have a book involving the ocean. That is so perfect. Prompt number 2 is going to be a mystery. Prompt number 3 is, for some reason, I was still thinking I was choosing books, so I read this and I was like, I don't know this book, but this is a prompt. Okay, suits the current season, which is winter. And our very final prompt is over 500 pages. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go gather up these books and I'm just so excited to see what I'm gonna be reading in February. All right, I am back with all my book selections. I think we have some really fun ones. Let's first talk about the 4 books I chose out of my TBR book jar. The first one is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This one is a scorching novel about hope and healing and what it truly means to love for a lifetime. I've heard this is absolutely heartbreaking. Also, if you can hear kids screaming, I live right next to a bus drop-off zone, and that also means there's parents parked outside who can see into my windows right now. It's a little bit awkward. But anyways, I've heard this one is just really powerful, emotional, and has a lot of depth to it, that people cry a lot while reading it, and it is just a beautiful, stunning love story. The next book that was chosen is Pictures of You. This is by Emma Gray. I also really love this cover. I love the sparkles on it. This one I picked up because it was like the deal at Target where it was like buy two get one free, something like that. But this just says, what would you do if you could start over? Imagine having a second chance with the one you never forgot. Evie Hudson should be grieving her dead husband, but since the car crash that claimed his life and landed her in the hospital, she can't remember him at all. The only person who can help her piece her past together is her high school best friend, Drew Kennedy. When snippets of her memory start falling into place, Evie wonders exactly how she ended up in a life that couldn't be further from the one she dreamed of. This time around, she's seeing all the things she missed and the life she gets to choose again. Again, I think this is gonna be absolutely heart-wrenching and just a powerful emotional read. I haven't heard anyone speak of this yet, so I'm excited to go into this with like an open mind and just no preconceived notions on what it is about or if I will like it or anything like that. It's just gonna be a brand new experience for me. I'm really intrigued to see if I like it. So next we have The Deep Sky. This is a sci-fi novel. I do remember buying this and I don't really remember what it's about. I know that Reagan from Peru's Project, I'm pretty sure she read this and that is why I got the inspiration to buy it. Let's see what it's about. Oh, and this book is by, I'm just gonna try to pronounce it. If I butcher it, I apologize. Yume Kitase? I should probably look up how to pronounce that. But it says, it is the eve of Earth's environmental collapse. A single ship carries humanity's last hope. 80 elite graduates of a competitive program who will give birth to a generation of children in deep space. But halfway to a distant but livable planet, a lethal bomb kills 3 of the crew and knocks the Phoenix off course. Asuka, the only surviving witness, is an immediate suspect. Asuka already felt like an imposter before the explosion. She was the last picked for the mission, she struggled during training back on Earth, and she was chosen to represent Japan, a country she knows only partly as a half-Japanese girl raised in America. But estranged from her mother back home, the Phoenix is all she has left. With the crew turning on one another, Asuka is determined to find the culprit before they all lose faith in the mission, or worse, the bomber strikes again. I just remember when I saw Reagan's review of this, she was like so excited by it and so passionate about it, and I just can't wait to have that feeling. I really hope that is how I feel about this book. From the sound of it, I'm gonna love it. And then finally, we have Cascade Failure by LM Sagas, one of the coolest book covers ever, and the sequel also has such a cool cover. I have the sequel, but I just don't remember what this book is about at all, which is weird because I just read it last year. So I just want to reread this so that I can read the sequel eventually. But this is about like just, you know what, let's just read a little bit of it. LM Saga's debut, Cascade Failure, is a high-octane sci-fi fantasy. It features a fierce, messy, chaotic space family, vibrant worlds, and an exploration of the many ways to be and not to be human. It was a really fun read. I remember when I read it, I rated it like 4 stars. I do remember it has like really harsh language, and that was like the one thing I didn't like about it, but it's just like a very fun romp. All right, let's get into the books I chose from my TBR prompts. So the first prompt we have, and again, I am throwing these prompts away. We are never going to be using these prompts again. But the first one was a mystery. For that, I decided to choose None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. Here is what the book cover looks like. This is a YA mystery thriller. I've heard it be compared to The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is one of my favorite series of all time. I don't think this will live up to that. Let me just state that. I don't think this could possibly be as good as The Naturals because that series is just like top tier in my opinion. But I do think I'm going to like this still. It says 1982, Quantico, Virginia, 2 teenagers, serial killer survivor Emma Lewis and U.S. Marshal candidate Travis Bell. They are recruited by the FBI to interview convicted juvenile killers and provide insight on cold cases. So, sounds like The Natural so far. Just a couple kids working for the FBI, something goes really wrong, and I'm sure it's really stressful, and I can't wait to read this. It's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time, so it is about darn time that I read this. The next prompt we had was suits the current season. It is winter, and I have been just waiting to read this for so long because I'm just so scared, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. One of my favorite authors. I really enjoy her books. This one, it's about 6 people who are trying to like perform this heist. I'm not sure what the heist is. I want to know like little to nothing going into this. The only thing I know about Six of Crows is what was in this show, Shadow and Bone. So I don't think they actually do the heist from this book in that show. If I'm wrong, I'll find out soon enough. But I already know I like the characters. I'm so excited to read this. It says, a convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz's crew are the only ones who might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. I'm so scared to read this because it's so hyped up, and if I don't love this, I will be absolutely devastated. Next prompt was a book involving the ocean. This book I have started twice, and I've loved it both times I've started it, but for some reason, I just have never been able to commit to finish the book. And I don't know why, because it's something I know I'm going to love and most likely rate 5 stars. And that is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This is about a woman who is in retirement. She has a kid now. She was a pirate, but she's retired. And then at the beginning of this book, someone comes to her and offers her one final job, and she takes it. And it's just so adventurous and so fun. Takes place on the ocean, obviously, and this cover is like one of my favorite covers of all time. It's so stunning. And then our final book is a book that is over 500 pages. For that, I am choosing Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. This is my favorite cover, literally, of all time. It is so beautiful. I will never get over how stunning this is. I look at it frequently. It's just literally my favorite cover I've ever seen in my entire life. This book is about Magnolia Parks. She is a London socialite. Her and her group of people she is around, they're like very famous. Everybody knows her. All the boys want her, but she only wants BJ Valentine. They are in this like love-hate relationship, friendship. They used to be together, but then they broke up for this reason that was really hard for them, and they've just kind of been like best friends who just hang out all the time. They don't touch or anything, but they both know that they're in love with each other, but they can't be together because it's just gonna be too hard, and they can't trust each other, and so they're constantly hurting each other by being with other people and talking about it. And oh my gosh, it is toxic, it is dramatic, and I eat it up. I really enjoyed the first one. I think I rated it 4 stars, and then I read Daisy Hates, and if you didn't know this series, it's called the Magnolia Park series, but some of the books follow Magnolia, and some of the books follow a girl named Daisy Hates. So I read the first book, which is Magnolia Parks. I read the second book, which is Daisy Hates, and I rated that like 3 stars. I didn't love it as much as I liked Magnolia. Daisy, I don't know, I just didn't really like her. You're either a Magnolia girl or a Daisy girl, and I'm definitely a Magnolia girl. There's just something about her I really enjoy, and I'm really excited to get into this one. I've been pushing it off for a very long time now, with absolutely no reason, as I do with a lot of books, but here we are. I'm going to read this. I'm giving my word that I'm going to read this in February. Okay, let's go through these books one more time just to refresh your memory. So we have Cascade Failure by L.M. Sagas, The Deep Sky by Yume Kitase, Pictures of You by Emma Gray, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and finally, None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!